So good evening and welcome to, I guess it is May 10th, Monday night Candy Crew team training. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sarah Shabbat and I do these every Monday night for our team. And tonight we have the honor of having Travis Flaherty with us, who is going to be doing a special training that I asked him to do for our team. So I decided to open it up to also the pop stars. And I don't know if anybody else is joining us from any other teams, but welcome. And I'm just really excited to hear what you have for us tonight, Travis. So I'm not going to talk much longer and I'm going to hand you the mic. So thank you so much for joining us. I know you've had a long day, so thank you for being here.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. I want to start off by saying just how grateful that I am for this team, how grateful that I am for Kevin and Sarah's leadership. I know that there are many other leaders that are on this call as well, and I don't want to leave anyone out. I see Dr. Aaron on tonight and Garth. Much love to you guys. Alicia, I don't know if she's on. I know she's in transit and moving right now and a lot going on. And Pamela Zimmer, to see you. Mr. David Lockwood, how are you? Good to have you on. Who else is on here today? Kevin and Mandy and Sheila and Suzanne, thank you all for being here. Tonight I want to talk to you a little bit about what I believe are the best that we have at APL Go. And I'm going to give you an opportunity. I'd love for you to tell me, what product do you pick to talk about tonight? I want you to just take a guess. Any guesses in the chats? What product do you think that I'd be right to talk about? One of the best products we have here at APL Go. Any guesses? Pamela says the comp plan. Pamela, you're not supposed to guess it so quickly. Like I needed to get a couple of other things going first. Pamela knows it right away. I am going to be talking about the comp plan. A lot of times it's comfortable to lead the products, right? We have amazing products and it's easy to go out and share testimony. Other people talk about the products. But I think sometimes you might get a little bit intimidated when it comes to the conversation. Does anybody relate to that at all when you're having conversations about compensation plan or how to position the compensation plan properly? So what I want to talk to you about is what I believe is one of the greatest products that APL Go offers, which is our compensation plan. It's unlike anything in the industry. And I believe that when you lead with the products, you're going to often get a lot of product users. And along the way, you'll find some people that are interested and want to learn more about the business. It's a great, bringing them in the door and starting the conversation and getting them on the products. And then ultimately from there, some of your best business builders will start off being customers. But there is also a time and place to go after business builders, right? If you want to shorten the curve to getting your business to that level where it's producing a full-time income, then you've got to find some business builders. You've got to find some people that are excited about going out and making some money. And the APL Go compensation plan truly is extraordinary. So tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through this compensation plan, some of the intricacies. And then the second half, we'll get into a little bit more about just recruiting and mindset training as well. Also want to just point out, if you haven't seen the new promotion that was just introduced, it was just posted on our Freedom group. You can go and grab that promotion and share it to your individual team. But the promotion is now programmed and it is now live. And I'm super excited about it. I have a feeling this is going to be a incredible month. And so with that, let's go ahead and jump right in. So first of all, I want to just talk a little bit about the philosophy of network marketing. I want to talk a little bit about the philosophy of compensation plans. And I want you to know that anytime that I'm speaking with someone that's business-minded or someone that even has experience in network marketing, this is a conversation that I always have. I was recently in Costa Rica, and while I was there, I met with a lot of network marketers. And network marketers, every single time we would stop and I would tell the story about how we came across APL Go and talk a little bit about Surgy and talk about the products. And we passed out some samples and, I could see that people were interested, but it wasn't until I got in front of a whiteboard and I explained the compensation plan where I started to see just those eyes open up and people could not believe. As a business owner, have to be able to competently explain this compensation plan. Now, if you're brand new, I know that it's okay in the beginning. It takes some time to learn, but the ultimate goal is to get you to a place where you do understand how we get paid and you can share why our compensation plan is so special. And so tonight, that's my to be able to get a little bit more of just that. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the philosophy of compensation plan. So in any company, it doesn't matter whether you're building if you're building a binary, doesn't matter if you're building a matrix, they all have the same type of philosophy. And I'm going to share just an image. You guys have probably seen this in our PowerPoint presentation, but I'm going to dig a little bit deeper tonight. This is how most compensation plans work. So when you first get started, you're an associate in whatever company that you join. And when you go out and you sign up as a distributor, that allows you to move from an associate to somebody into the business. And then from there, there's all these different ranks throughout it. And those ranks are designed to give you a target, to give you a goal, give you something to work towards, right? You can't hit a bullseye without having a target. And each and every one of you should know where you are in the plan at all times and what rank you're looking to achieve or what your goal is to what you're looking to hit as that next goal. Now, these aren't our ranks. This is just kind of generic. I'll pull up our ranks here in just a few minutes, but that's what ranks are for, is to always give you something to aspire to hit, to achieve. And if you continue to work through those ranks and you just focus on the next rank and focus on the next rank, eventually you're going to find yourself maximizing the fullness of the compensation plan by maximizing the earning potential of the rewards plan. Now, in most companies, it would take the average person years to graduate all through the lower ranks to the mid-level ranks and eventually getting to the top rank. In this case, it would be called a crown diamond director based on the illustration that we see here. Now, what a lot of company owners don't tell you is that they put a lot of hidden doors, some trap doors and gotchas along the way in compensation plans. And they do it on purpose. They do it to minimize the amount of percentage payout that they're paying out to the field. In a lot of cases, it creates something called breakage, which is money that should have been paid out, but because there was a technicality, they didn't necessarily have to pay you out at a certain rank, so they didn't have to pay out as much money, right? That's called breakage. And a lot of companies have this. And so when I evaluate a compensation plan, I have two objectives. The first objective in any business is to be profitable, right? Well, how are we profitable in network marketing? We have to learn how to maximize the plan that we are working. Number two is I want to know what gotchas are potentially there. And how do I navigate around those potholes in the compensation plan? So company owners know that the least amount of money is going to be paid out within those first ranks in the plan. Why do they pay out the least amount of money in those ranks? Because that's where the majority of people, over 90 to 95% of the entire organization, usually is in those first 4 or 5 ranks. Why? Because most people build this in their part-time or their spare time, and they're doing it for a side income. They have the goal to be able to get to a full-time income, but most people spend most of their time in those earlier ranks. Now, we have the middle of the line ranks. So in our compensation plan, you would start to see that at corporate director or as you go high into the national ranks, into some of those higher ranks, which is premier director and even moving up into the ambassador ranks. So here's what happens. They pay out the least amount of money in those earlier ranks. And then as you get into the middle ranks, you start to get a little deeper into the plan. In some cases, maybe the percent start to go up just a little bit more. And eventually, if you work really, really hard, you'll get up into the top ranks in the company. Now, I was and many of you were there in Las Vegas, and I asked from the stage a question. I asked Dr. Alberto, who is a seasoned veteran in the industry, he's a launch coordinator for Latin America, a question. I said, what percentage of an organization typically reaches the top rank in a company? And he said 1% to 2%. And depends on the size of the organization. I think that in some cases that might even be a little bit generous. In most cases, you have a handful of people that usually reach that top rank in the plan where they're maximum fullness of the compensation plan. So he said 1% to 2%. I said, okay. So out of that 1% to 2% that is achieved at top rank in the, how many of those are qualifying every single month? And he said, oh gosh, maybe half of those, because it's one thing to get to the top rank. but it's something entirely different to continue to maintain that rank every single month. So then I said, okay, I'd like to just ask the room, if you are a diamond in our company, please stand up. And I know that this room was full of leaders, right? I mean, a lot of times the leaders, they make the priority to get to these events. And so I know that we had a room full of leaders, but I would dare say, Sarah or Pamela or Dr. Aaron or Garth, what percentage do you think of that room stood up, just out of curiosity, if you had to guess?
85%.
80 to 85% of that room stood up. That means that we had more people, 250 people, than some companies that have hundreds of thousands of distributors being paid at the top rank. And we literally had 250 people in that room. And the reason for that is something that we refer to as the diamond status. The diamond status is exceptional, and it is unlike anything that I've seen in 16 years in network marketing. And the reason for that is because Sergi, when he was a network marketer, one of the things that he didn't like about the company that he was a part of, the company was called Agile. He started at the same company. Little fact, he started at the same company that I started with. In 2005, believe it or not, Sergi and I were in the exact same company. I didn't know Sergi, but he was a top promoter over in Russia for the same company. And he always said, one day I'm going to own my own network marketing company. He loves the industry, loves how it changes people's lives. But one thing that he wanted to do is he had a better compensation plan, and not just a better compensation plan, but he also wanted to have a compensation plan that wasn't changed, because with that particular company that we were a part of, they changed the comp plan after they got it built up and built up and built up, and they changed it, and they started making it harder and harder to qualify for those ranks. And so when he launched APL Go 9 years ago, one thing that you guys should know is he's never changed the comp plan in 9 years. And that's very special. I'm not saying most companies. But one thing that really bothered him was that he felt that anyone and everyone should have the opportunity to be able to be paid as a top ranking distributor in that company. And so he came up with the diamond status. And so how it works is very simple. When you enroll in our plan, there are different packs that you can enroll. So you can join at the promoter level. You can join at the associate level, the builder level, the mentor level. VIP and diamond levels are typically those professional packs for those that really want to create a fast story right out of the gate, right? Your story is one of your greatest assets. And they understand that, look, if I want to build this, I want to be able to maximize that compensation plan from the very beginning. So what you have to understand is when you're rolling, you're not just choosing the amount of product that you want. You're also choosing what percentage that you want to get paid. So as we go over to the next, and by the way, if you sponsor someone into our business, you can earn anywhere from $10 up to $600 every single time that you sponsor someone into the business. Now, when you're choosing what's called your Go Kit, you're also choosing your status. And let me just clear this little, there we go, that was in the way. So you're choosing a status, and I want everyone to pay attention to the status column here for just a moment. So we have different statuses that go just along with the same names of the packs that you were choosing, from promoter to associate to builder, mentor, VIP, and diamond. And if you look over on the left-hand side, when you choose to come in the door, you're also choosing the percentage that you are going to earn your team commissions. Now, the standard in the industry is 10% on team commissions. Standard is 10% for team commissions. Team commissions mean that you're no longer getting paid on your efforts, right? If I go sponsor someone and I earn $10 to $600, I'm getting a one-time commission. Like if I'm a realtor and I go and sell a home, I'm getting a one-time commission, but that's not residual, right? It's great because you can recoup some of your initial investment back right out of the gate, make a little bit of money and create your story with that fast start bonus. However, the reason why we're all here is to create leverage, right? Leveraged income. The concept of team commissions, just so you know, is to make a little bit of money off of a lot of people that are all just doing a little bit. You're making a little bit of money off of a lot of people that are all just doing a little bit. Some products, some people are using and sharing them with others. Some people are really going after it and they're building a massive business. So our team commissions are really cool because you can get paid through infinite levels on the teams. And I want to just explain how it works. And we're going to get into a little bit more detail tonight than I would in a normal presentation, because I really want you guys to understand how this works. So you'll notice at the top of the screen, you'll see someone there that came in at the top. And then what they've done is they have gone out and they've sponsored one person on their team number one or your left team, and then they've sponsored another person on the right team. That is everyone's first goal when you join the business, is to become what's called active and qualified to be able to earn your group bonuses. And you do that by sponsoring two people, one on your left, one on your right. And that starts team one and it starts team two. What happens from there is every single week, they're going to add up all of the sales volume in both of these teams. In whichever team, the lesser amount of volume for the week, you are going to earn whatever percentage based on the status that you chose when you came in the door. So the question that I would ask right out of the gate, and again, I'm always thinking from a business mindset, putting on a business owner cap for a second. And that's what we all are, by the way. We are business owners. Sometimes we don't look at ourselves as business owners, network marketing, do a little side gig or this thing I'm doing on the side. If you treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. So for me, business mindset, business hat, how do I maximize this comp plan? That's what I'm thinking from the very beginning. So I want to get to the 30% as quickly as possible. So if I did 10,000 in sales on my team number one, and I did 20,000 in sales on team number two, and that's adding up all the new volume that came in the door, all the new people that enrolled and came in the door, and all of the upgrades that are happening in my organization. What's flowing through the group bonus? So all of the new people coming in the door and all of the upgrades to status are paid out here in the group bonus. So if I did 10,000 in sales on team one, which is the left team, and then I did 20,000 in sales on team two for the week, it's going to look at my lesser leg and it's going to give me or pay me on that 10,000, which is the lesser leg, which means I'm going to earn, if I'm a diamond, 30% of that 10,000, which would be a $3,000 check for that week. Now, if I'm at the promoter status, that means I would earn $1,000 for that week. So the goal obviously is to maximize that comp plan. Now, there are companies that are out there like Genes, for example, or Isogenics, that have been around for a long time, and they are referred to as a binary, which means there's two legs. Binary is two, one on the left, one on the right. And the average on those comp plans is 10%. Now, Genes, for example, will allow you to get up to 20, but to get to 20, you have to be top ranks in the entire comp plan. So again, very small percentage, maybe a handful of people that are earning that kind of money. So you are in control here. And it just, if you can't start off at the diamond level, that's okay. You can upgrade your status at any time. Now, they say you have 90 days from the time that you start to get to diamond, but the truth is there are promotions that are constantly running, like the promotion that's running right now. So even if you were outside of your 90 days, you to take advantage of this May promotion and still upgrade your status. You don't have to go all the way from, let's say I'm a promoter. I don't have to go all the way from promoter to diamond if I don't want to. I can go from promoter to associate if I want to, or I can go from associate to builder if I want to. So I have that opportunity to be able to upgrade my status through my back office. Now, one distinct feature that is unlike any comp plan, any company in the network marketing industry that you will find is that once you are a certain status, you are always that status. I don't have to requalify at the end of every single month. And if you understand what a big deal that is, anybody that's been in network marketing knows how hard it is, not only to get to the top, but then to requalify every single month. And a lot of times your rank will fall back a little bit. You're constantly fighting volume. It's going up and down. So that affects your income. But status always stays the way. Whatever your highest achieved status is, that will always be how you are paid moving forward. So that's something that is a big, big selling point, a unique differentiator in the marketplace. I call it a USP, a unique selling proposition of APL Go's plan. And that's something you want to highlight and something that you want to think about and talk about with your future distributors. Now, you may hear from time to time Nancy or others say we're not a binary. And there's a reason for that, because a lot of the merchant accounts, the people that process our credit cards, are no longer allowing processing for binary compensation plans because there's been a lot of chargebacks and a lot of fraud that have happened. There's waste in the system when it comes to a binary. And so we are not a true binary. Anybody that looks at this and says, well, I see a left leg and a right leg, the reason why the actual term for our compensation plan is hybrid 9. And I share that because you never want to use the term binary on any presentations or anything that you're doing, especially if you're uploading a presentation or a training on your team pages or YouTube, because that could get the company in trouble and cost us our merchant accounts. So we are a hybrid 9. Now, why do we say that? because you can technically build up to 9 legs here at APL Go. So in any company, in any comp plan, there is something called a cap. In any company, there is always a cap on how much that you can earn on a weekly basis. And the reason why is because the company can only pay out a certain amount. There's a certain percentage that's the peak. And these caps help protect that percentage so that you're not going over and above. And so they typically will cap how much you can earn in your team commissions on a weekly basis. Some companies, and sometimes it's based on your rank. So if you're a beginning rank in the first 4 or 5 ranks, you might only be able to earn $2,500 a week in your group bonus. And then as you get to the middle ranks, they might raise it where you can earn $5,000 or $7,500 a week. That's how the earlier companies that I was a part of for the first 5 years, you had to raise up your rank before you could increase the amount of money that you could earn in your team commissions. We do not have to worry about the ranks, but we do have a cap. And if you look in the red here, you start with 2 legs, right? You're starting off with 2 legs, one on your left and one on your right. And you can build up to 9 legs that each cap at $10,000 per week. $10,000 per week or $40,000 per month. So what does that mean? It means that I can technically build 9 legs and I have the ability to be able to earn $40,000 a week on each one of those legs. Now, a question that often comes up is, well, when would I open up those next legs? Or how do I know when to open up a next leg? First of all, you'll know when the timing is right. Typically, we recommend that, and I think the company is now putting a policy in place that you have to be a minimum of a national director before you can open up your next leg. But let's say that this is you right here at the top, and you've launched your business, and you put one person on your left, starts team 1, one person on your right, and that's team 2. What's going to happen is these legs are going to start to grow, and one of them is going to become what's called your power leg or your stronger leg, is how they refer to it. And that just means that that's the leg that has more volume in it. And then the other one is going to be referred to as your pay leg. This is just whichever leg is the lesser leg in volume for that particular week. So what's going to happen is eventually you're going to find that one team or one leg starts to grow faster than the other, right? And there's a lot of different variables that come into play. Sometimes you might have someone above you that's helping contribute to that leg, so it's growing a little bit faster. Second unique differentiator with our compensation plan that is very special. So let's say that I did 10,000 in sales this week. And over here, I only did 5,000 in sales. And this is my pay leg. This is my power leg because this has more volume. So I'm a diamond. So I'm going to get paid 30% of that 5,000 in volume, which would equate to $1,500 for that week. Well, what's going to happen is it's going to, and I don't want to, hopefully don't confuse you guys too much, but what's going to happen is it's going to take 5,000 away from that 10,000, and it's going to leave me with 5K left over here. So what's going to happen is you're technically being paid on both legs. You're being paid 5,000 and 5,000, but if I had 10 in the leg, what's going to happen is it's going to say, okay, we're going to pay you on this 5,000, and we're going to pay you on this 5,000, which would leave 5,000 left over. And what happens is that 5,000 carries forward to the next week. So what happens is some of you will notice that you start seeing volume that's building up. It's called banked volume. And that banked volume is like a savings account. It's like having money sitting in the bank that's sitting there waiting for you. Why? Because as that power leg continues to build volume, you can now focus your efforts on the other side and you can get paid 100% on that volume. So that's how it works. But again, once I hit national director, what I can do is I can add a third leg. And I can start to build this organization. And here's what's cool. I might be making 10,000 a week on this team, and I'm now hitting my cap, but now I can earn another 10,000 from this leg. And now I can start a fourth leg, and I can earn another 10,000 a week from there. And I can do this until I have a total of 9 legs. This is a very, very special part of our compensation plan. When you're talking with influencers or people that understand network marketing, and they know that you can go up to 9 legs and you can earn $40,000 per leg, and I can use the same power leg to offset all of these other pay legs, people flip out about that. People get very, very excited about that. You don't have to go and create 2 new legs now every single time you launch a leg. You can use the same power leg to offset all of these pay legs. So let's say that I have 4 legs in my organization, and one of them has to be the strongest leg. I can count 1, 2, 3 all of these legs and add up the volume and use that as a pay leg and get paid on all of those. So this is a very special part. So this is the reason why that we refer to the plan as a hybrid 9 as opposed to a binary for that particular reason. So just understanding, and again, if something doesn't make sense, it's okay. As long as you understand that you can build up to 9 legs and each leg has a cap of 10,000 a week, that's really all you need to understand. And the fact that we are not a binary. Again, with the team commissions, you should know that, again, only new people coming in the door and only upgrades to status are being paid through the group bonus. The carry over volume on a weekly basis, you guys, is a big deal. It is a huge deal. And it's not programmed this way yet, but I know that they're working on the programming, and it just takes a little bit of time to get things programmed. And by the time that we launch, or even sooner, you will see this. The reason why it's important that you place your regular activity order is 2 reasons. Number one, obviously you want to qualify for commissions. The minimum activity order is 40 PV here, which is 2 boxes of product to be able to be qualified. And if you order this month, that will actually qualify you for next month. So we're in the month of May. So if I order my $50 worth of product, that means I'm now going to be qualified to earn commissions in June. So first of all, number one, you want to place your order every month. We recommend setting up an auto ship. Hallelujah, the auto ship feature actually works now in your back office. I encourage everybody to log in, set up an active auto ship, set it up between the 1st and the 7th, teach your team to do the same thing. That way it'll never be forgotten. You know, every single month, somebody calls me, never fails, and says, I forgot to place my regular activity order last month. Can you help me? Can you please do something? And it's not an easy thing to do. So set it up for the 1st and 7th. Just forget about it. Know that you're going to get your auto ship that's sent to you. The second reason is because if you do not place that regular activity order, all of your banked volume will flush to 0. And that is like flushing money that's sitting in a savings account down the drain. So make sure that you're placing that regular activity order every single month. Now, that's on our team commissions. Another that's very, very special on our compensation plan is our check matching, our matching group bonus. I've seen matching bonuses, and in my previous company, for example, I think we had a matching bonus that went down a couple of 2 or 3 levels. Ours goes down 7 levels. And I want everybody to write this down. This is the only part of our compensation plan that your rank matters, that your rank applies. Everything else is based on status. Your status is determined by which pack that you choose to enroll or when you choose to upgrade. This is the only area where your rank applies. Rank is determined. They'll add up your volume for 4 weeks. They're going to add up the lesser leg every single week, and they're going to tally it for 4 weeks. And whatever volume that you finish at will determine your rank at the end of that month. And the reason why you want to pay attention to your rank and you want to achieve higher ranks is because you get paid deeper in the match. And let me give you some examples. A bird just smashed right into my window and scared the heck out of me. Okay, so number one. So let's say that I was fortunate enough to sponsor Kevin and Sarah into my business. And Kevin and Sarah, they get after it and they go out and they go earn $10,000 this week into the business. Because I was fortunate enough and lucky enough to sponsor Kevin and Sarah, I would earn $2,000 as a matching bonus. Now, Sarah doesn't have to come to me and go, okay, here's your $2,000. She gets to keep her $10,000, but I get a matching bonus of $2,000. To date, I think that we've sponsored 68 or 69 people into the business. I'd say approximately half of those are receiving a check every single week. Some of those checks are really good checks. Some of them are smaller checks. But add them all up, and you're getting a 20% match on those checks. The income can start to become very, very interesting, right? So, but that's just level one. Now, let's say that Sarah goes out and sponsors Kelly Bauer into the business, and Kelly Bauer comes in and she just crushes this, hits a home run with it, and all of a sudden, Kelly Bauer earns $5,000 in the business next week. Well, because Kevin and Sarah sponsored her, Sarah's going to get 20%. I'm going to get a 10% match on Kelly because she's on my second level. And you can see 10% goes all the way down, so you get second level. And again, look at the ranks. You only have to be a manager or even a senior to start getting paid into that second level. And then once you hit director, you go down to that third level, an additional 5%. Well, guys, by the time that you start hitting into some of those, and everybody, I'm telling you, aspiring to get to corporate director, that's where the matching bonus really starts to get interesting when you're hitting that constantly and going up to national director. That's when I noticed that check match just go into a whole different level for us, because now all of a sudden you're picking up 5, 6 levels, or even sometimes 7 levels. Once you get to that international director, you start picking up 7 levels. Well, guys, 7 levels. If I go down 7 levels in my organization, we have thousands of people in those 7 levels. Say that a percentage of those, let's say a third of them are receiving a check. You guys can do the math, and we're receiving anywhere from 20% all the way down to 2% of whatever those checks are every single week. That is a huge deal. And I've noticed now the difference if, 1 week I qualify at national director, or 1 month, excuse me, versus hitting an international or even premier, it's thousands and thousands of dollars in income, just the difference in those ranks. And so if you're trying to get to a more steady income and you're a leader that's in that, senior director, managing director, corporate director range, just know that hitting that rank or hitting that consistently is going to give you a solid boost of your base income and make a difference for you. So this is important. And again, this is another unique selling proposition with our company, because most matching bonuses typically pay down 2 or 3 levels. Now, another thing that we have is we also have a Unilevel. And this is a really neat selling feature of our compensation plan. So let me explain kind of the history of compensation plans to you for a moment. So everything started out as a Unilevel. A Unilevel means that everybody that you personally enroll is on your first level. And you could have 50 or 500 people that are front level to you. And Unilevels typically pay down a certain amount of levels. They'll typically pay down, let's say, 6 or 7 levels. So you're getting paid down through not only the people that you sponsor, but the people they go and get, right? So, let's say this person goes and gets 4 people. That would be on your level 2. And it goes down 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're earning a percentage based on whichever level that is. So this is how the compensation plan started in the industry. Disadvantages of a Unilevel, there's a few. So if I sponsored, let's say I sponsored, Jeff Mills, I sponsored you here into the business. And then I sponsored, Heather and McChesney into the business. And you guys are now frontline to me. Both of you are really in direct competition with each other. There's no synergy there because there's 2 separate organizations that we've created. The other disadvantage to a Unilevel is that they're very shallow. So if I have somebody that comes in on level 7 and this person happens to be a superstar and they go build $1 million business, if they're down below my 6 levels, I don't make any money on those people. So that's the disadvantages of a Unilevel. So there's also called a binary, and everything started with a Unilevel, and then we started to see binaries become more popular in the 2000s. And a binary typically means that there's you at the top, you put one person on your left, person on your right. And now anybody that you sponsor after that is going to just go down. The benefit here is let's say that I sponsor Pamela here into the business, and then I go out and I sponsor, Garth into the business down here. If Pamela got positioned first, that means that all of the volume that Garth creates is actually going to benefit Pamela. So it creates a synergistic effect that the Unilevel does not have. And that's exciting, right? You go sponsor a couple of people and all of a sudden you start having people coming in below you. That can create a lot of excitement. The other advantage to a buy is that you can get paid through infinity. So it's no longer just based on 5 or 6 levels. You can get paid deep into your organization. So it allows you to really drive depth. And what I like about it is it allows you to be able to focus on developing leadership in your organization, right? Instead of having to keep everything high and tight and continue to focus on just your personal production, it allows you to really focus on developing leadership deep into your organization. We call it taprooting. What taprooting is where you have somebody that comes into your business down here, and this person down here has potential. You may have not sponsored this person, but you come down and taproot into that person and lock arms with them, and you help to develop the leadership there. In a Unilevel, that's hard to do because that person may be deep enough that you're not getting paid on them. But in this compensation plan, it allows that to happen. So binaries flourished, and they created some big checks. Now, in the old days, when there were just Unilevels, Amway, Herbalife, those type of companies, it was a big deal to earn 6 figures. So if you were like a 6-figure earner in the 80s and 90s, whoa, that's a 6-figure earner in network marketing. When the binary came out, it was the first time that we started seeing not just 6-figure earners, but 7-figure earners, right? So all of a sudden, the stakes got a little bit higher because you could start getting paid deeper to the compensation plan. The trade-off was a binary typically produces fewer people making a lot more money. Fewer people making a lot more money. I'll give you an example. So let's say that, you come into the business and, you get positioned and, and this, you've got somebody above you continuing to build their 2 teams. And so you have some spillover that's coming in, carry forward volume underneath you. And then you start your team. And it starts to grow. And somewhere down here, Aunt Betty comes into the business. She comes to one of your meetings. She sees this drops. She sees the vision. She gets excited and she joins. Network marketing, the Direct Selling Association says that the average distributor in network marketing will sponsor 3 people. 3 people. So let's say that she sponsors her 3. 1 over here. She puts the other 2 over here. And let's say that this person over here quits after 90 days. But this one down here goes and builds a massive business. And let's say it's $1 million business. Well, the way that binaries typically work is they pay every week on your lesser leg. So even though she has $1 million in volume coming in on her right team number 2, she has 0 volume coming in over here. So guess how much Aunt Betty earns off of that compensation plan? 0. So where does that volume go? That volume, all of this volume flows up to this leader. So what you end up in a binary compensation plan is a leader with a check and then a bunch of zeros. And then you end up with another leader with a big check and a bunch of zeros. So the challenge with a binary is you'll always have a handful of people, and I'm talking 5 to 10, that are making 80 to 90% of the commissions that are being paid out in the comp plan. And that's a challenge. And so here's what makes our comp plan so special. We had a similar situation on the front end. I mentioned to you through our team commissions that only the new packs coming in the door and the upgrades to stacks are paid out in the binary, or the ninary, let's call it, not a binary, ninary. But here's the cool thing. Everything else, all of the repeat orders are the orders I was just talking to you about, your regular activity orders that qualify you for the compensation plan are actually paid out in our Unilevel. So all of the residual income after the first orders is paid out here. So guess what this does? This creates excitement. This creates sense of urgency. This allows you to create some fast checks to excitement. But this is where your long-term residual income is going to come from. And this is why this is so special. Let's take the same scenario. Aunt Betty comes into the business. This is Aunt Betty. And she sponsors 3 people. This one quits, but this one builds $1 million business. And let's say there's 10 people on her first level. Those 10 go get 10. She's got 100 on her second. Those 100 get 10. She's got 1,000 on her third. You guys can do the 10,000, 100,000. Let's say that she ends up with all these people in her organization. Well, guess what? She's going to get paid on our compensation plan. It starts off at 10, then it goes to 9, 8, 7, 6. Excuse me, other way around. Starts out at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% of all of those people. Aunt Betty, in that same scenario where she's making nothing here, is now making a 6-figure income over here. So what happens with our compensation plan is it creates more meaningful checks that are spread out amongst the organization. Why is that important to you? Because it drives retention. It drives retention as opposed to only a handful of people that are earning money and constantly leaving and leaving. Now, I'm not telling you that you're not going to experience retention in our business. It's part of the business, you guys. It is. If you think about it, in a traditional business, a small percentage of the people, how many companies that launch make it to the top where they're, franchising and making tons of money? Businesses go out of business. About 80% of them do it within 3 to 5 years. So it's no in network marketing. So you're going to encounter, there's the thing network marketing is the barrier of entry low. I can start a business for $5. I don't need to go put any money into marketing. I don't need to go develop a website, a back office. I don't have to think about coming up with a product. I don't have to do the science. I don't have to do any of that stuff. It's all done. So sometimes because that barrier of entry is so low, people don't take it serious. And because they don't take it serious, they don't realize that this is a vehicle that could take them from where they are to where they want to go in life. So they don't take it serious. You get a lot of lottery mentality people that come into network marketing. What do I mean by lottery mentality? Let's just say that this is a scratch off ticket and you've got 5 chances to win, right? 5 little squares that you can rub off with your little penny, and maybe one of these you're hoping is going to be the $1 million prize. Well, this is the mindset that most people come into network marketing with. They come in with their lottery mentality, and what do? They go talk to 5 people. First one they talk to maybe is their brother, and their brother's like, I tried one of those years ago. Those things don't work. No, you can't believe you got involved with that. You're never going to be successful. Nobody makes any money at those, right? So what does he do? He scratches that one off. Didn't win. So then he goes to the next person, right? He goes to talk to his colleague at work. Oh my gosh, you joined a pyramid scheme? You joined one of those? Oh my gosh, you're going to get arrested. Like the police are going to show up here one day and you're going to be hauled off because you're in a pyramid scheme. So rubs that one off, right? Then he calls his, friend from, softball team. Meets with him, and the friend from the softball team's like, maybe I'll be a customer. I'll order a box, right? So he gets his little one box, right? Goes and talks to the next person. Next person's like, no thanks. I wouldn't be any good at that, right? So now this person is feeling pretty desperate, right? They're at a point now where they're like, Mom, you got to join me. You're the last person. You got to join my business. And then mom doesn't join. And guess what happens? At that point, most people in this business give up. It's the truth. David Lockwood, am I right? Most people give up right here. They go sponsor, they talk to 5 people, and then you know what they say? This is the worst part about it. They go around and they tell everybody, I tried those things. Those things just don't work. I tried it. Those things don't work. No, you didn't work. The reality is that it takes time. It takes time to build a business, any business. But this is what most people do. They come in with a lottery mentality. So back to the compensation plan. So the beauty, you're going to have people that are going to leave no matter what. But the beauty of our comp plan is that it is friendly to the beginners in the profession. And that is what I like. Because if I can take somebody and help them to earn an extra $300 to $500 a month, from there you can get them to $1,000 a month. And then once they get to the 1,000, guess what? You can get them to 2,000 to 3,000 a month. Then you can get them to 10,000 a month. And I'm going to tell you guys, the first 1,000 is the hardest. First 1,000 a month is the hardest. It really is. It's easier to make $3,000 to $5,000 a month than it is to get to your first 1,000. Why? Because in the beginning, you're starting with no momentum. Starting just with nothing. It takes time, right? You're going to have people when you join that are going to doubt you, that are going to be watching you just to see if you're even serious and you're going to be here in 90 days. You're going to have people that are going to bet that you won't even be here in 90 days. So this is about our plan. Now, what's unique about our Unilevel? Any other Unilevel that I've ever been a part of, if you go look at them, they always start off with paying the highest percentage on the first level. And then they go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Why do they do that? Because you're going to have the least amount of people on level 1. But as you get deeper, because of the law of exponential growth, the organization is hopefully developing. And by the time you get down here, if 10 people gets 10, that's 100, right? 100 people get 10, that's 1,000. So you get the idea. So company owners know that. So here's one of their gotchas. Well, we're going to pay out less money as it gets deeper. Sergi didn't like that. Sergi said, I think it should be the other way. I think that it should be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you build an organization, you should be rewarded for developing an organization. That's a huge deal. Just that in itself, if you truly understand that, as your organization develops, would you rather have thousands of people where you're earning 9 to 10% or thousands of people where you're earning 5 to 6%? That extra 3 to 4% may not sound like a lot, but remember, you're making a little bit of money off of a lot of people who's doing a little bit. That's a big deal. But guess what? If you're a diamond, it automatically goes to 10% on every one of these levels, all the way down. Not just one, every month. Again, when I shared this in Costa Rica and I had these leaders that were in the room and I did the same presentation, over and over and over, back to back. When I would get to here, the eyeballs were just starting to open. People were like, wow, you're telling me that I don't have to re-qualify, that I can get 10% on every one of these levels, I can get 30% over here, plus I can get a check match 7 levels deep, and I don't have to re-qualify every single month, plus I can build 9 legs, and I can earn $10,000 a week on every one of those legs? You're kidding me, right? So, no, I'm not kidding you. That's right. And that is the reason why we have such a high percentage payout. Now, I want to talk about that for a moment. So in the industry of network marketing, percentage payouts get thrown around all the time. So, you hear company owners, and I still see it, it's funny. Somebody will say, well, we paid out 45% last month. And then somebody else will say, well, we paid out 49%. And I'll never forget this. When I was in my second company I was a part of, and I was meeting with somebody, and it was one of those meetings, and I don't do these meetings anymore. The one where they says, I'll listen to yours if you listen to mine, right? Like those meetings never work, right? Because they try to recruit you, you try to recruit them, and it just becomes a, whatever. So I'm like, well, we paid out 52%. And I never forget it. She says, well, we paid out 53% last month. And it was just, this one goes on in the industry, but let me explain to you how it works. So when they're saying a percentage, what they're talking about is for every dollar that comes in, there's how much of that dollar is paid out in commissions, right? 53%, you would think would be 53 cents a dollar, but it doesn't work that way. Because see, in a company, let's say you go spend $139 for a product, and let's say that they only give you 100 in volume for that product. When they say they're paying out 53%, it's not of the dollar, it's of the volume. So in all reality, and they can manipulate this volume to be whatever they want it to be, right? They can pay you 80 on that 139, they can pay you 90 on that 139. So they can manipulate the volume to be whatever they want it to be. So what does that mean? Is it a true 53%? No, it's probably closer to about the average. So there's a company or a website called Business for Home, and they put out a yearly report of the top 100 companies that have paid out the most in commissions every year. And to be on this list, you have to submit an actual tax return. And the reason why is because Ted wants to get past all of this. He knows the game. And so he just says, look, I want to look at your tax return, and I want to look at the gross revenue that you brought in as a company owner and how much of it went out in commissions. And that'll give me a true percentage. And then from there, he lists the top 100. Well, APL Go made that list. But here's what's neat. The industry standard was 34% on the dollar. What's funny is if you go look at some of these companies and you listen to their presentations, these companies that actually paid out 34% claim they paid out over 70%, some of them. But they didn't because it was the volume. So 34% was the average. We paid out 63% on the dollar in 2020. 63%, a true 63%. Where is the difference? There's three key areas. Number one, if I'm a diamond, I'm making 30% on all my team sales instead of 10%, which is the average. Okay, that's the first place. The second place is I'm now earning 10% on all of my 6 levels of a Unilevel instead of the 5, 6, or 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Just those two areas alone, and then you add in our matching bonus that gets paid down 7 levels, is the difference. So when I say, and I told you guys a story earlier on, how many people in this room are being paid as a diamond, the fact that we had 250 people stand up in that room, that's more people than most companies have at that level before. And that is a very, very special compensation. Doesn't mean that you are going to moderate, just means you're going to get paid more for your efforts. And the way that I explain it to people is this. If I gave you two choices, Kevin, if I told you that you had company A that you had to join, you're going to start at the bottom as an associate, and you can work your way through all of those ranks, all 15 ranks. And you got to keep requalifying every month, by the way, along the way. And maybe in a couple of years, few years, you work really hard, you'll get up into those top ranks, right? Or company B, you can start off at the top rank in the entire company and get paid that way. And oh, by the way, you don't have to requalify every month. If you have the choice between company A and company B, which one are you choosing? I think we all know the answer to that question. So when I say how special our compensation plan is, it's very special. I think that saying that I am fond of, you business always and you build it always. So I don't want to tell you not to go after customers. That's not what I mean, customer lifeblood of your business, and over long term, you want to have a very, very strong customer base. So I'm not saying don't talk to customers about your business. But what I am is that don't be afraid to talk about the money and the opportunity. Out of all the companies I've been a part of, the best opportunity that I've ever sold is the income opportunity. It's the income potential. It's the possibility of changing your life. Because this industry is the only industry that I know where you don't have to have college degrees and you don't have to have 10 years of history and resume and all of these things checked off before you can start hitting certain levels in income. None of that matters here. It really comes down to you. It's the only business that I know that can take someone. We used to say that our target market in this industry was 35 to 55 married kids and bills. 35 to 55 married kids and bills. That was who my target market was. And it hasn't changed. You know why? Because at 35, somebody got a few kids at that point. You know, they've already kind of realized that they're probably not going to be the professional baseball player they thought they were going to be, or the doctor. Now they've started to get into debt. They've got a car loan. They've got maybe a couple car loans. They've got some mortgages. You know, they've got debt on their credit cards, and they're going every day, and they're realizing, how am I going to get out of this 40, 40, 40, right? You work 40 hours a week for the next 40 years of your life. So how do you change that? Well, network marketing is a vehicle that allows people to have that hope again, right? What you guys are is dealers in hope. That's what you are. You're a dealer in hope. You're giving people the ability to be able to have a vehicle that in a few years could change their life. You're not going to get rich quick here, just so you guys know, right? Like if you're that person that's like, you know, I'm going to quit my day job and I'm going to go full-time at APL Go and I'm just going to go do this and this is all I'm going to do, and you don't have an income coming in to take care of yourself, I'm going to tell you it's going to be a tough road for you, because network marketing was not built to be able to walk in the door and create a full-time income for yourself. Few people do it, but I would say that those people have a 10-year backstory that you don't know about. It's not built that way. And so whenever I hear someone that's going to go full time and they don't have, you better have at least 6 months savings in the bank if that's you. And if you're not, you need to go take care of and make sure that you have enough income coming in to pay the bills first. And then in your part-time or spare time, you work on building your fortune, right? That's crucial. Network marketing, here's the trade-off. There's always a trade-off in anything that you do. The law of sacrifice. And the trade-off is this. Don't like that marker. So the trade-off is this. In the beginning, this is your efforts. This is your reward. And in the beginning, your efforts are going to be up here. When I first started, I remember saying to Summer, I think we were even a year into it, I could be making more money at McDonald's on an hourly basis than I'm currently making in my network marketing business. I sponsored my first month and my first company close to 30 people. I mean, I went crazy. I didn't know what I was doing. It was just, you know, hair on fire. Did everything wrong, but it didn't matter. I didn't know all the if, I's, and would yous and the 8 steps to contacting and inviting and all. I just went out there with pure enthusiasm, and I sponsored 30 people. 90 days later, not one was left. Not one. Like, I remember logging in my back office, and I was so upset. And I remember I just went through, and not one person was on auto ship. And I was so frustrated. So then I had to rebuild again. And I had to do it, and I did it again. And 30 days later, half of them were gone. I had people that would literally give me $1,000 and join my business, and I never heard from them again. I've had 2 people here at APL Go pay $3,000 to become a diamond. And I have never heard from them again. Like, it blows my mind. I can't even comprehend what goes through these people's mind. But you know what? I just focus on the things that I can control. The simple daily activities over a long enough period of time. Some of you saw me do this in Costa Rica. I'm going to do it again, or I'm going to try. I don't know if it'll work. I'm not going to have a thing, but let's just come down here for a second. So let's see. How am I going to do this? I'll just do it on my hand. So I got a deck of cards here. And network marketing is a lot like you don't know what kind of hand you're going to be dealt. You don't know when you sponsor somebody or talk to somebody really what they're going to do. Because I've learned that the people that you think are going to be amazing, sometimes they don't do anything, right? The big talkers come in and, I've done this and this and this, and they never do anything, right? Then you have some that you don't expect at all. That just, I remember I sponsored 2 people once. One was a railroader and one was a leader in the industry, right, that had done all these things. And I sponsored them both on the same day. Mark Swanson was his name. I still remember. He was a railroader. He was an engineer on the boats. And we did the getting started training for both of them. And I had like these steps like, hey, if you just enrolled, here's what I want you to do. I want you to put your names list together and do this, this, and this. And when you're done, get back to me, right? I was always taught the best way to find out if you have a duck or an eagle is to give somebody an assignment when they first enroll and see how quickly they do it or if they do it at all, right? You know, the old saying, you can't take a duck to eagle school, right? And I think we try to, a lot of times in network marketing to turn ducks into eagles. And I'm not saying that not everybody has the potential. It's just their willingness to work or not. And so I sponsored both of them, gave them both assignments. And I remember at 2 a.m., my phone started going off. And I at 2 a.m. and it was a text. And I looked down and it was Mark Swanson. And he says, hey, you told me to text you. As soon as I got my list done, I'm done. And I'm so excited. And I know that you'll probably see this in the morning, but I just wanted to text you and let you know that I got my list done. The next day, I didn't hear from my other guy. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, still hadn't heard from him, hadn't put me on one three-way call. Who do you think I invested my time in? Mark Swanson. Mark Swanson became my top recruiter in that company. He'd never done network marketing before, just wasn't polished, didn't have the skill sets, but he was just excited. He's just excited. So you never know. So here's what it's looked like. So when you go sponsor somebody into the business, you go sponsor one person, and let's say you don't know who they are, but you sponsor a 3. So a 3 is maybe somebody who comes into the business and they go out and maybe they sponsor one person, right? And here's the thing about 3s, 2s and 3s. You never know who they're going to introduce you to, because some of the best people that I brought into my business were not the people that I sponsored, but the people that they introduced me to, right? So you sponsor a 3 and you keep going. And now you go out and sponsor somebody else. It's a 4. So maybe they sponsor a couple extra people, right? And you keep going. Now I got a Jack, right? This is somebody I'm going to lock arms with. This is somebody who's excited. They're motivated. They're put their names list together. They're putting me on 3-way calls right out of the gate. I'm going to spend time with this Jack, right? And you just keep going. Now I've got a queen. And you keep going through the deck, and you get a 5, and then you get a 6, and then you get a 7. And along the way, you get one of these guys, right? Anybody have any of these that have joined your business before? You ever had any jokers that have come into your business? Right? The ones that are like, oh, I'm going to go to the moon, where I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this. And they waste all your time, and they literally do nothing. They have all the questions, though, right? Like, oh, can you find out the molecular structure of the drop in HRT? I need to know exactly what the density is in the drop. And can you find all that out? For like, those are the jokers, right? And you just keep going through. But here's what I've learned, you guys. If you keep going through the deck, as you sponsor 52 people, you will eventually find some aces in here. And the goal is to find your aces. And along the way, you're going to find all kinds of people in between. And I don't think that there's somebody that's a 3 or a 4. They're any less valuable than a 10 or 11 or a 12. It just means that maybe they're not ready yet, or they haven't fully committed yet, or their belief system isn't there yet. And we work with 3s to get them to 4s and 5s and 6s. But everybody is valuable in your business, but you're not going to have 52 aces. In every single organization that I have built, every business that I have built, my income was related to 3 people, 4 people, 3 lines, 3 or 4 people. It's no different here. Sponsored 70 people. I can equate 80% of my income right now to 3 people that I sponsored and the people that they went out and brought in. It's just how it works. So the thing is if you only sponsor 3 people, your odds of finding an ace are going to be pretty slim, and it's going to be a hard road. It's going to be a long road. If I go sponsor just 4 or 5 people in the year, it's going to be a long road, right? So the faster you can get through the numbers, the more likely the percentages start to work in your favor, where you start to find those aces. And a mentor used to teach me that if you want to make 6 figures, go sponsor 100 people as fast as you can. And you know what's interesting is Eric Worre talks about this whole sponsor 20 people in 30 days. There's no that you're experiencing in your business right now that's too big or too small, too big, that 20 new people would not solve. You put 20 new people in your business, no problem, too big, 20 new people wouldn't solve. And the interesting thing about that is if you have many people come into your business this month, think about the momentum and the excitement that would create, the welcomes, the new people, the energy, the new blood. But if you 20 people for the next 3 years, it wouldn't create the same effect, right? It wouldn't create the same effect. So it's about condensing timeframes. If you want to network marketing, it's condensing timeframes, even with prospecting. If I talk to a prospect on Monday, then I don't talk to them again until the following Friday of the next week, the sense of urgency is no longer there, which means the value goes down. But if I talk to that prospect on Monday and I'm back on them again on Tuesday, there's a sense of urgency, the value goes up. So it's about condensing timeframes in everything that you do. And I'm going to close with this thought. And Eric Rory shared it at an event of ours a couple of years ago, and I loved it, the analogy. In the beginning, when you launch your business, especially when we're launching a new company here in the United States, that's a European company, and even though they're 9 years old, there's a lot that they don't know. The business model over in Europe is totally different than the business model here. They don't even have auto ships. We talk to them about auto ships, and they're like, what are those? Like, they don't, it's different. So there's a learning curve and a cultural curve. So we've been working through that. And Eric described it this way. In the first year, you're the pioneers, right? And imagine going out in a jungle and you've got this machete and you're out in the jungle, you're on the jungle tour, and there's no path in front of you. Like, it's just thick weeds and forests and vines and all these things. And you're hacking away just to get a few feet. You're creating the path, right? And it is miserable. It's hard. It's not easy. But eventually you keep going and you keep going and you keep going. And all of a sudden down the road, you see a path that starts to clear. And it's a dirt road. It's not a good dirt road. There's waters and streams that are going over it. And there's potholes along the way. But you don't have to clear it. There's at least a little bit of a path now. And then eventually you keep going and keep going. And eventually you come onto a super highway. And people are flying 100 miles an hour. So those are the different stages that network marketing companies are in. The jungle tour, got a little bit of a clear path now. Some of us that have been here 8 or 9 months have been clearing that path. We've been creating a path. We've been hacking away. And it's been hard. And you know what? Where you lose the most people is during the jungle tour, because it's harder. Not everybody is cut out to go and hack away at all these different trees, right? Sorry, somebody's at my door, but we'll just leave them for a second. But here's the thing. If you just keep going, pretty soon that path will clear. And eventually, a couple of years from now, we will be on a super highway. So I want you guys to know that it's the people that clear the paths that always make the most money. And every single one of you are here right now at the beginning. And it's not going to be easy. You have to invest 2 to 3 years of your life here, working hard, developing your skill set. The most important thing, what do you think the greatest asset that we have here is in APL Go? Comp plan, what do you guys think? Product comp, what do you think the greatest asset, what your greatest asset is here? In the comments, I want to know, what do you think the greatest asset is here? Aaron worked there for when I was 15, didn't want to go back. That's funny. What do you think? Give me some guesses. The support, okay, what else? What do you think the greatest asset is here? Rapid funnel, those are all great answers. What else? Products. I think our products are amazing. Any other guesses? What do you think? Timing, okay. What else? Comp plan. Pamela, I'm with you. Comp plan's amazing. What else? Anybody else have any guesses? What do you think the greatest asset is? Team members to Sergi, comp plan, product. Okay, let me tell you what the greatest asset. And I asked the question, and it could have been phrased a little differently, but I think you'll get my point. Your greatest asset is your mindset. Your greatest asset is your mindset. It truly is. Your greatest asset is your. Yes, we have all these great things, but your greatest asset is your mindset. And my question to each and every one of you is, what are you doing to protect it, and what are you doing to grow it right now? I'm going to be the first to tell you that I've neglected it over the last 30 days. I haven't read a book in 30 days. I haven't even picked up a book. I did on Mother's Day for the first time, and it felt good. Your asset, your mindset is your greatest asset. You don't get what you want, you get what you believe. How do we work on that belief? We got to work on ourselves every day. And I want to ask you guys to make a commitment to get back into your personal development routines, 15 to 30 minutes a day, every single day. You have to get your mindset right, because you're going to go through some challenges. You're going to go through some roadblocks. You're going to have some days that just flat out suck. I'm sorry, but you are. And you're going to want to quit. You're not a veteran until you said I'm quitting at least 5 times. but you've got to work on that mindset. And I promise you that if you do, that will become your greatest asset. And if you just keep going and you just keep turning over cards, yes, you're going to have to go through some of these, but you will eventually find your ace. That is a promise. I can't tell you when it's going to happen for you, but I can tell you, and I can promise you this, if you just don't quit, it's the only way you'll lose is if you quit. It's the only way you will lose is if you quit. If you just keep going, you will eventually find your aces, your confidence, but you got to work on your mindset. So that's all I've got for you guys. I went well over an hour. I didn't mean to go that long tonight. Open it up to the leaders or open it up for any questions or comments that you guys have. Anybody want to jump in? Sarah, any comments, or Kevin, anything you guys want to add at all?
I love that. Thank you so much. I think it's really important that you took the time to go through and explain that. I know that there's a lot of people that have had a little bit of self-confidence issues when it comes to explaining the comp plan, especially because it is different. They don't know terminologies and words that they should use. And we have something that's really powerful here. And the last, I want to say, week and a half, I just wanted to share that I've kind of taken a different approach when it comes to making calls and doing follow-ups. I've been more focused on presenting the opportunity and making money here. And even though we have a great product, I did that in the sense of that we have something really special and really different here, and that, you know, they owe it to themselves to really look at it. And if you believe it, and we all should, because it's true, we have the most generous compensation plan out there. And if we can show people what we have, they're going to be more open to it. So I don't have anything else to leave up with tonight. Thank you again so much, Travis. If anybody has any questions, I'll leave it open for another minute or two, or else we can just say thank you and end it.
Okay, Travis, I got one question for you. You had mentioned that you couldn't open up another line that was coming. If you weren't a national director, you couldn't open up another line. Could you explain that? You're muted, by the way.
Sorry about that. The reason why they don't want you to go wide too fast is because there's strength in the structure, right? There's a synergistic effect that happens early on when you do this. And you're only driving 2 lines. Everybody should just drive 2 lines. You always build to your outside left and your outside right of team 1 and team 2. I always teach people that you should start off by putting a minimum of 3 to 5 people on each leg as your foundation. You've got your 10 key positions. They're like golden front property, right? 10 key positions. When they're gone, they're gone. These are like gold. You should be offering these to people like they're going out of style, right? Because what happens is everybody that takes those positions, everything that you do after that is going to go below those spots. So they're going to benefit from that carry forward volume. So when I launched my business, I treated these like gold, and when I had conversations with people, you know, I treated it like that. Listen, David, I'm getting ready to launch my business. I've got 10 key positions. These positions are the people that choose to lock arms with me at this stage of the game are going to benefit tremendously from everything I do moving forward. We're going to go make a boatload of money together. If you want your name on one of these positions, it's going to cost you $3,000. Tell me yes, tell me no, tell me fast because I got to go because I got 100 more people that I'm going to call. Right? I mean, it's posture. So back to your question, sorry, I kind of got off a little bit on a tangent, but there's strength in that synergy as opposed to doing this and going and starting 5 lines all at one time, because most people can't support that because they're not big enough recruiters. So you spread it all out. Nobody gets the benefit of the spillover because you're kind of pushing it. And so what we want to see is we want to, you know, it's like building a solid foundation, right? You can't build a building on sand, on the beach, right? On the sand. You got to have a solid foundation. That's what will allow you to have a solid foundation. Getting to corporate director will ensure that you have a very solid foundation with 2 healthy organizations that are stable before you open up your 3rd one. Because the last thing we want is for you to jump and open a 3rd and then this one to completely die.
Okay, thank you, Travis.
You bet.
I got it.
Unless we have any other questions, I'm going to say good night for now. So I'll give everybody a few seconds, or else thank you so much, Travis.
Yeah, thank you, Travis.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Mindset.
A round of applause. You deserve a round of applause.
Can you lead us in the song, Aaron? Come on.
I just did, and it's in your head now. That was so amazing, Travis.
Great, Travis. Thank
Oh my
you.
gosh.
Thank you, Travis.
Yeah. Thanks
Appreciate
for
you,
spurring us
Sarah.
on to that
Thank
corporate
you,
director.
Alicia.
Hey,